You think you're studying, but you're not. You read the same page 3 times, and you call it preparation. This is how 96% of people waste years of learning, without realizing it. It's not a lack of effort, it's a flawed strategy. In the next few minutes, I'll show you what's actually happening inside your brain. This is how point 96, where we don't fix you, we decode you. There is a specific feeling you get when you finish rereading a chapter, a sense of recognition, a quiet confidence. I know this. That feeling is a lie. Psychologists call it the fluency illusion. When information feels familiar, your brain interprets that familiarity as mastery. It can't tell the difference between recognizing something and actually knowing it. Those are 2 completely different neurological events. Recognition is passive. It requires no reconstruction. Retrieval is active. It forces the brain to rebuild a memory from scratch. And that reconstruction, that struggle, is the only process that makes knowledge durable. Think of it this way. Reading your notes is like watching someone else lift the weight. You observe the movement. You understand the mechanics. You feel like you could do it. But your muscles haven't done anything. The same is true for your memory. Passive exposure does not build retrieval strength. Only active reconstruction does. A large-scale review published in 2013 analyzed decades of data across hundreds of studies and over 150,000 participants. The researchers ranked every major study technique by its actual impact on long-term retention. The results contradicted almost everything students instinctively do. The 2 strategies with the highest efficacy: spaced repetition and practice testing. The 2 strategies with the lowest: highlighting and rereading. The techniques that feel the most productive are neurologically the least effective. And the techniques that feel the most uncomfortable are the ones that actually work. Here is why this isn't your fault. Your brain is not optimized for learning. It is optimized for survival. And survival favors the path of least resistance. When you sit down to study, your brain runs a quick cost-benefit analysis. Rereading feels low risk. It requires minimal effort. It produces a steady, comfortable sense of progress. Testing yourself feels threatening. You might get the answer wrong. You might expose a gap. And to your brain, exposure feels like danger. So you default to the comfortable method, not because you are lazy, because your brain is protecting you from the discomfort of not knowing. Add to this the environment you were trained in. Schools reward the appearance of engagement. Highlighting looks like focus. Rereading looks like diligence. No one ever graded you on the quality of your retrieval practice. So the flawed strategy gets reinforced, year after year, until it becomes automatic. And here is the compounding cost. Every hour spent on low-utility strategies is an hour not spent on high-utility ones. It is not just ineffective, it is a displacement of time that produces a false ceiling on your capability. You believe you have reached your learning limit. You haven't. You've reached the limit of your method. The correction is structural, not motivational. 3 interventions, each grounded in how memory actually consolidates. First correction, retrieval over recognition. Replace rereading with self-testing. Close the notes. Write down everything you remember. Then check. This is called the testing effect. When you attempt to retrieve information, even when the attempt fails, your brain primes the neural pathway to absorb and encode the correct answer more efficiently once it is revealed. The failure is not a setback. It is the mechanism. The struggle is the learning. Second correction, distributed encoding. Stop marathon study sessions. The brain consolidates memory during rest, particularly during sleep. Studying the same material across multiple shorter sessions, spaced days apart, produces dramatically superior long-term retention compared to a single extended session. This is called spaced repetition. It works because each re-encounter with the material forces the brain to reconstruct a slightly degraded memory trace, which strengthens the underlying synaptic connection each time. The forgetting itself is part of the process. Third correction: interleaved practice. Most people study one topic until they feel confident, then move to the next. This is called blocked practice. It produces fluency within a session, but poor transferability outside of it. Interleaving means mixing different topics or problem types within the same study session. It feels harder. It feels slower. It produces more errors in the short term. And it produces significantly better performance when the material is tested later, in new contexts, under real conditions. The discomfort is the indicator, not the obstacle. You were never taught how to learn. You were taught how to appear like you were learning. And for most of your academic life, the two looked identical. They are not. One builds an illusion. The other builds a mind. The data is unambiguous. The strategies that require the most cognitive effort are the ones that produce the most durable knowledge. Your brain resists them because they are hard, but hard is the mechanism. If you had to identify the one study habit you defaulted to for years that you now know was low utility, what would it be? Control your mind, or it will control you. Understanding is power.